That's injustice right there, right? So how do we explain to a non-believer a God that loves and cares allows these evil things to happen to people who are so innocent? How do we explain that? Or can we explain that? Well, I'm assuming a baby is innocent, and if you kill my baby, that's evil. That's true. And sometimes we question the reason, but more times we know the reason because sometimes it's because of stuff we've done before. And we forget, right? In fact, I'll give you a real life example. 9/11, one of the planes that went down in Pennsylvania, I think it was Pennsylvania, I was actually supposed to be flying into Pennsylvania, that airport, that day for work, right? Look at that. Can you imagine? I may not necessarily have been on that plane, but I would have been in the area, right? So there are times when God diverts our plan, and it's always for his glory, not for ours, for his glory.
Suggestion. Yeah, we can look at Job, what he went through, and yet at the end, Job said he will trust God. So God do everything for a reason and for a purpose. When we are going through our crucibles, it's for us to use them to strengthen us, because the devil likes discouragement, and one of his greatest weapon is discouragement. He likes when we are discouraged, and he likes when we are going through our crucible, because that's the time we want to turn our back on God. But whatever we are going through, we have to remember that when Jesus was on earth, he went through much more than what this. Thank you.
You see, no, you hold the mic because I'm going to ask you to be my mic monitor. Move around with the mic. See, Jesus can go through more than what we can go through because he is part of the Trinity.
That's correct.
Right? Yeah. And what we need to do is learn lessons from Bible characters, yes. Right? Now, let's be real with ourselves. If we were Job, we would have had issues. I mean, like sometimes we speak as if, no, we have to be this all the time. But I think in reality, we need to talk about it more on a human level. There are times when we will say to God, like, no, not me, no. You need to go to somebody else and pour this stuff on because I'm not made out for this. And then after you reflect, you realize, you know what? Like you said, what's your name again, sister? Sister Natalie, like you said, there are lessons to learn in everything, right? So there's a scripture that says, for the love of Christ constrains us, right? So when we love, there are certain situations and circumstances that we will be constrained or we hold back from expressing how we feel. Now, I did ask the question about what is love, and I'd like to add that love is an action word, right? And love exemplifies itself with no expectation, right? So when you love someone, you're not in the spiritual realm, don't always expect them to love you back, because they might not love you back the way you want them to love you back. Some people love in silence. You know, your spouse can love you, I don't know why it happens, and they will never tell you they love you. But they'll open the door for you. They'll cook the meals. They'll fold the towels the way you want them to. You understand what I'm saying? So there's different ways to express love. The lesson also talks about free will, right? Oh man, the talking in the background is. So free will. So when I looked at the lesson this week and it talked about free will, I always reflect back on when they're doing offering in church and they say, can you please give a free will offering? So free will means there's no limit, right? Because if it's free, there's no, I'm only going to give this, right? So we know that Lucifer had the choice to sin or not. And I love my students at the back, but I'm hearing you. Okay. So John 4 verse 11 says, beloved, if God so loved us, we also have to love one another. And the truth is, there's some people, like most of you who know me on a personal level, I'll be as real as you get. Sometimes it's really hard to love some people, you know. Because, like, you do good for them, and they're so ungrateful. Yeah. And I don't polish those words. They're so ungrateful. Ungrateful in the sense that you've never done anything for me. Those statements, for me, it just, what do you mean by I've never done anything for you? Just to be in your presence, whether I'm on the phone with you or in your presence, I've done something for you because I've just taken my time, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 2 minutes, to even look at you. I'm doing something for you because I'm in your presence, right? So when we talk about love, love has to be something that's free. It has to be unconditional, right? And if we look back to the character of Lucifer, I don't think Lucifer had anything in him to realize, you know what? You can't compete against God. You know, how does a child compete against their parents? The parent that birthed them, the parent that understands them from inside the womb, right? You can't compete against that, right? And so for that reason, it's our responsibility to understand, number one, who is the creator? Number two, what is your purpose here? What is here, whether you're at church, work, even on the bus? If you're sitting beside somebody, you know, what's your purpose for sitting beside them?